Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Home Depot off of Dallas Parkway in West Plano, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button for this video. It definitely helps it out, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. That is the fastest way to get in touch with me, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel with the notifications bell on if you like daily 1-hour plant shopping videos, as well as live chat during the live premieres. But it is a beautiful late afternoon out in North Dallas, and I wanted to check out this Home Depot. So I have not been to this Home Depot in quite a while, and so I wanted to see what plants that they have. I've been featuring a lot of other big box stores aside from Home Depot, so we're going to see what Home Depot has available. A little birdie told me that there might be some really nice plant sales, but for now we're going to take a look at some of these succulents and cactus. So this is an aloe vera apache right over here, $24.98, and I do like the sun stressing of this one right here. It's got some of those red tones. Now with succulents and cactus, sometimes they end up getting some really nice variegation depending on how much light is given, and you can see right here for $29.98 we have a bunch of cold tolerant agave plants. Now for my grow zone, which is 8B, you can actually grow these agave in the landscape, and they will be able to survive some of our really cold, harsh winters. So again, when it comes to certain plants, specifically outdoors, you have to really look at your grow zone. I am based out in North Dallas, and that's why whenever I do some of my landscaping, my outdoor gardening, I really have to pay attention to certain plants that it can grow in my landscape. Some of these succulents and cactus may be able to grow in my landscape, like this one right over here is another one. This is another opuncia, I believe, which is a cold tolerant cactus. This one is a Opuncia Nel Pastel for $24.98. These are sourced out by Smart Plants. Love that. And then all of these really prickly looking cactus right here are what you call golden barrel cactus. This is for $26.98. Now plant foldies, and for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. I don't know a lot about cactus and succulents. I am learning, and it's interesting because I've seen, say, this golden barrel cactus, but I've never seen it be this ghostly white. So that is such an interesting look for it. That one's for $9.98. But what I can tell you about most succulents and cactus is that they do require a lot of light, bright indirect light, full sun. You just have to do your research on some of this care needs. For the most part though, as far as like soil, you want to make sure you have fast draining soil. You never really want to over water your cactus or succulents, because that will encourage root rot. That's the fastest way to kill a succulent or cactus, and as well as just making sure you are providing them with quite a bit of light. You can see right over here, this is an interesting one. These are what you call fire sticks, another type of succulent. And it's one that will actually get some of the red tones on the tips of its leaves. This one is for $26.98. So plant foldies, I will definitely get to the indoor tropical plants in just a bit, but I always like showing some of the outdoor plants. You know, it's always, amazing for me to just look at these plants. And while a lot of these plants are plants I've featured in previous videos, I love talking about them. So plant foldies, let me know in the comments what you think of the plants so far. And this is a desert rose, but oh my goodness, do you see this, plant foldies? This is a sport variegated desert rose. You see that variegation right here? And it's interesting because I've seen this desert rose featured at a lot of these Home Depots, the one with the red blooms, but out of the caudex, which is basically the trunk of this desert rose, it looks like one shoot has some variegated leaves. That's really interesting. So I may end up just buying this desert rose, because I may want to just propagate the variegated stems to see if it'll actually hold the variegation. That is super cool. Now plant foldies, I know it sounds silly that I want to buy a plant. I think this is for like $29.98 because of the variegation, but you know, finding variegated sport plants at a big box store is always cool. I'm super envious though that there are some people that have found variegated monsteras just out in a field of big box stores, but this is really cool. I mean, unless I am looking at something different, plant foldies, this is variegation, right? Like it's got a different tone about it. super cool, and that's not grafted onto this codex. So I am gonna definitely buy this once I'm done looking through all of the other plants here. I did not intend to buy desert rose, but it is a plant that I really like. Now, it is a succulent type plant. Some people utilize it as bonsai, so that's going to be something I will eventually propagate. Now over here, plant foldies are a bunch of crepe myrtles. Now crepe myrtles really do well for hot conditions because they prefer to be in a hotter climate. They can be susceptible to mildew. So what happens is if you overwater them or water the foliage, they can get mildew. They like to be on the drier side. Now this one is for $32.28. These are first edition crepe myrtles. These have actually made it to the market. They used to be a little bit more uncommon about 6 years ago. Now you can see them at big box stores. You can see we've got a bunch of canna lilies, and I'm about to walk into the actual indoor tropical section, but I always like panning over and looking at the outdoor plants. As always, plant foldies, if you like specific plants that you want me to feature in my big box store plant shopping videos, please leave a comment in the comment section. I will do my best to film them. These right here, for instance, $7.98 vinca flowers. They are stars, especially for heat, hot weather like Texas. I mean, having 100+ degree weather in the summer is brutal, but this plant takes the toll in terms of just being able to tolerate that heat. They're drought tolerant and they enjoy full sun. So that is great for a landscape plant in the Texas weather. And now we're going to walk into the indoor tropical plant section. And I love the Home Depots that actually have a section that's separate, that's almost like a greenhouse. And I'm just going to pan over here, and it looks like they have a lot of large foliage plants and different types of plants. Right off the bat, plant foldies, do you notice how organized this place is? This is a Dracaena Steed Soul by Vigoro Plants for $14.98. Again, plant foldies really like the look of this particular Dracaena. It is a very nice looking Dracaena. It's one that is easy to take care of. It does already have that hardened cane about it. Dracaenas are super underrated plants, but they are a plant that I would recommend anybody growing, especially those that are going to start an indoor tropical plant collection. If you're a beginner, this is such an easy plant. It is low light tolerant. It can also be drought tolerant as well. I wouldn't push the envelope so much though on the drought tolerancy. Like if you want to just stay on top of the watering, what I would do is with the Dracaena, water it completely, give it a good soak, and then let the soil dry out 100% before you water it again, and you won't have any issues. It's the same thing with some of these other plants, and it looks like this table right over here with Vigoro Plants, these are all for $14.98. are the easy care plants, and I am all about easy care plants. Plant foldies, you already know there is a reason why you call a plant a basic plant, and it's because it's simplified plant care tips. For instance, Sansevieria trifasciata for $14.98. Really nice looking plant right here. They have many different varieties of Sansevieria trifasciata, or what you call the snake plant. They are marketed as a very low light tolerant plant, but for me, Sansevieria or snake plants tend to be more similar to succulents in a way that they're very drought tolerant. And so when people say that they are low light tolerant, perhaps they are, but they're not really going to get the best growth being in low light. So I would always say if you're able to give them more light, actually most plants give them that light. Epipremnum aureum golden pothos, and these are all for $14.98. But plant foldies, if you notice, this is a legitimate golden pothos. And what I mean by that is look at the variegation of this plant. Some golden pothos are marketed as golden pothos, but doesn't have the variegation that this one has. Now with pothos plants, especially with the golden pothos, they are marketed as well as being low light tolerant, being a little bit more drought tolerant, super easy to take care of. I would recommend this plant for any beginner. But if you notice here, the variegation is so high. I love it. And to maintain that variegation, like that is absolutely stunning plant foldies. You want to make sure that you are providing it with quite a bit of bright indirect light. I mean, this is such a beautiful golden pothos. Plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you agree This definitely has higher variegation than the typical golden pothos. And what I'm noticing about this Home Depot is that this Home Depot has some really nice, healthy looking plants, quite a bit of a selection, and the organization of these plants. Now you can see over here, plant foldies, we also have a ponytail pond for $14.98. I appreciate big box stores that actually have the organization like this, because if you saw from my previous live premiere last night where I visited a Walmart where I found Monstera Thai constellations, absolutely exciting to see that. The plants weren't necessarily organized like this. You can see they only have like one Monstera adansonii, but it's actually mixed in and organized with the Hoya carnosa. So they have a bunch of Hoya carnosa, Crimson Princess. Look at how healthy this Hoya is. Look at how beautiful the variegation is. I love the pink tone about it as well. That's more of like sun stressing. And I think that Hoya carnosa, while it is probably the most common Hoya you will find at a big box store, it's still got such beautiful variegation. Now, the more light you provide the Hoya carnosa or any Hoya plants, they tend to do better. They tend to sun stress. They tend to get some really nice coloration. You can see this one right here is mostly green, but it's still a beautiful plant. Hoyas are very hardy plants. I appreciate Hoyas because of their drought tolerance. Like literally, I didn't water a plant, my Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess, for an entire month. And while the leaves started to kind of get a little bit shriveled, once I watered it, within a day, it was back to its waxy texture, and I love that. But even this green variety of this Hoya carnosa, for instance, while it doesn't have nearly as much variegation, it's beautiful. And you can see plant foldies, it is a happy camper because it's already shooting out more shoots to give more foliage. And again, with Hoyas, the pinnacle of a Hoya success is when you've grown one and you're able to get one to bloom. I have yet to get my Hoyas to bloom, but you know, I have become somewhat of a Hoya head. And what people don't know is I just have to try to control myself, because literally I don't need another Hoya Crimson Princess, but that is such a beautiful selection here. And I'm just really happy that they have all of their plants organized. It's neat, it's clean, and it just inspires you to want to purchase more plants. Now, plant foldies, you can see right over here, we've got an Epipremnum aureum neon pothos, for instance, another beautiful plant. And with neon plants, you already know plant foldies, if you've been watching my videos, that I tend to gravitate toward neon plants. I think they're awesome. I think that they are just readily available, and they're basically overlooked sometimes. I feel like neon plants, not everybody gravitates to them, but it is a plant that if you want to maintain the coloration, you have to provide a lot of bright indirect light. And look at this right here. Like, I am tempted to buy this golden pothos right here because of the variegation. Like, you can even see the stems are variegated. And this is for $14.98. It is in a 6-inch planter. I would say it's a little bit more on the pricier side, but the quality and the health of the plant is gorgeous. I would totally do that. I am trying not to because I want to save some money for PlantCon 2024. It is literally 3 days. It is coming Saturday, and plant foldies, I am so excited to meet you guys at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas. It's Labor Day weekend. We are going to meet at PETA's Planters booth at 11 a.m. Saturday. I will be wearing my Grow Folds t-shirt, so you'll be able to recognize me, because I know that I have been faceless on YouTube, but I am excited to meet all of you plant foldies. And then you can see right here, plant foldies, beautiful Calathea medallion. This one is for $29.98, and you know, this is very deceiving. You know, somebody asked me on the live premiere chat what plant I would not purchase again, and unfortunately, sad to say, I will not be purchasing any Calatheas again. I have basically sent quite a bit to Plant Heaven this year. Even if I was growing them in hydroponics, they still didn't do well. So as far as Calatheas, I'm gonna just hold off for Calatheas for a bit. I mean, they have beautiful foliage, but the only thing is Calatheas are very finicky plants. They need higher humidity. They're very spider mite prone, and they need to have special water. Like if you water them with tap water, sometimes the leaves edges tend to be browning just because of the harsh water. So it's a beautiful plant to look at, and I love the fact that they have large size calatheas. I mean, this would probably take a while for a calathea to get that size, and that's why I love going to big box stores like Home Depot, especially this Home Depot. Like this Home Depot right here has an Alocasia regal shields, I believe. But you can see right there, if you see that that webbing right there, that is a leaf full of spider mites. So you have to be really cautious about that. And that's not to knock that, you know, that this store doesn't take care of their plants. It's just that alocasias tend to be a little bit more susceptible to spider mites. But you can see that it is a mixed container for $139. Beautiful plant. I wish I had my plant foldy mist. It's neem oil spray. It would definitely eradicate a lot of the spider mites, but you can see that that is just the nature of alocasia. And then I'm going to spin around here. You can see that they do have the calatheas as well. This is a gorgeous Celum plant. This is for $24.98. When I was in the Philippines on vacation, they had massive ones growing out in the wild, in landscapes, and it is a beautiful plant. I do like the texture. I'm hoping that I will be able to get one of those, maybe a variegated form. And then over here, a bunch of Alocasia californias. Now with Alocasia california, you can actually grow this in Grow Zone 8B as a landscape plant, and it is actually considered a perennial. It will go dormant in the winter and then come back in the early spring, or not early spring, I'm sorry, late spring, early summer, just when the weather gets a little bit hot. I love the look of this one. I have a variegated form of it, and it's stunning as well. But this whole selection of plants, like all of these large foliage plants, it's very tempting to want to purchase a lot of these plants. Like right over here, we've got another Alocasia portora for $24.98. That is another commonly found Alocasia. And again, if you ever want instant gratification, Home Depot has the best large foliage plants, and probably the most cost effective as well. Like I know Walmart tends to have large foliage plants, but in terms of just having a selection like this, like look at this Aglonema Silver Bay, absolutely stunning. I am debating on whether I should buy a couple of large foliage plants. This one is for $32.98 by Nature's Way. These are ready to go plants, and I definitely agree. Alocasia Silver Bay, beautiful plant. And then we've got another Alocasia Regal Shields right over here. This one doesn't have any spider mites, I think. And then this one is for $29.98, which brings me to a point, plant foldies. Actually, I spoke too soon. You can see that there are a little bit of spider mites there. And again, that is not a knock at the big box store. It's just a lesson we have to learn when it comes to like big box or plant shopping, especially with Alocasias. You want to inspect the tops of the leaves, the bottoms of the leaves, the stems, the just everything about the plant to make sure that you don't bring a plant pest. Now, I would say if I am going to buy a plant from this place, I know for a fact, since there are spider mites present, that I would need to spray my plant with a bunch of neem oil. I would spray all of the plant, the top of the soil, the bottom of the soil, and just make sure that the plant is actually quarantined. Spider mites are not that bad, and actually spider mites tend to want to be in a place where there isn't nearly as much humidity. So I would actually put the plants in more of a place that has a little bit more humidity. I always like to show you guys my products that I use for my plants. So I honestly use Miracle-Gro all-purpose fertilizer. It's super cost effective. Miracle-Gro fertilizer is a basic fertilizer, but it will get the job done. I also use a liquid version of the Miracle-Gro fertilizer. I just put like a couple of trace drops into my water and pretty much water my plants with a little bit of plant food every single day. You can see right over here, this indoor plant food is amazing because then I'm able to actually water my plants a little bit more consistently, you know, especially in the growing season, and especially if you're growing plants in a lot of light, they need to be fed, and it's actually boosted a lot of my my foliage and growth on my plants. So that's some of the plant products I use. And we'll go back to the plants. Monstera deliciosa. This is another classic plant. Look at how beautiful that new leaf that unfurled is. I love how it's got that neon foliage for a Monstera deliciosa. And this one is for $29.98. Gorgeous looking plant. It is another plant that I would add in my plant collection. I currently have 3, but like some of my other plant friends, they actually have multiples of Monstera deliciosa. I think that it is such a gorgeous plant. Same thing with an Aglaonema Silver Bay, and I'm gonna go ahead and dub this Home Depot. I know that I've only just shown you a couple of these plants, but I would say this is probably the best Home Depot in all of DFW that I have recently visited, because look at that. Like, look at the silver foliage on this beautiful Aglaonema, and I want to buy this plant. I definitely do, because it is such a stunning plant. And plant foldies, I've talked about this in all of my videos, but I really think everybody, especially if you call yourself a plant foldie, needs to buy Aglaonemas. You need to get an Aglaonema Silver Bay. That is such a gorgeous plant, and it's such an easy plant as well. It can be put in a lower light space, but it is also inexpensive for the price that they're asking for. Over here is another Ficus lyrata. So I recently purchased another Ficus lyrata, which you will see in another video under my Costco plant finds. Definitely love Costco as well, since I found some Monstera Thai constellations. But this one right here is for $24.98. I love the big leaves of a Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf tree. My only care tips I would say for fiddle fig leaf is consistency on where you place it. It needs to be in bright light. You need to water it, but you need to stay on top of the watering as well. It likes humidity if you're able to provide it. But look at how beautiful this Aglaonema Silver Bay is, and I love the fact that it's already large. The thing about Aglaonema is they tend to take a long time to grow, so just being able to find something as massive of this is so stunning. And there are 3 different types of Aglaonema that I typically see at Home Depot. So we have that Aglaonema Silver Bay, that is, you know, a given, and you see that there is a sea of Aglaonema Silver Bay. So beautiful. But then we also have an Aglaonema White Rain. Some people will also call this an Aglaonema Golden Bay. I really like this because the difference is it has that yellow tone about it in the middle, like the yellow veining, but also the stems are white. And I love white stem Aglaonemas. You can see that this has a little bit of cosmetic damage if I'm being picky, but overall, what a nice full looking plant. Sometimes Aglaonema can get very leggy at this stage, but you can see that these are super healthy plants. I hope that whoever buys these plants can provide a good home. I hope all of these plants end up getting unbought, because this Home Depot has done a phenomenal job taking care of the plants. Plant foldies, would you agree? Like, would you agree that this is one of the best Home Depots? For my local plant foldies that live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, again, this is the Home Depot that is located off of Dallas Parkway in West Plano, Texas. It's right next to the Costco. I would recommend going here and purchasing plants, because I mean, look at this. Absolutely stunning. And this is only for, I believe, $29.98, so $30, and you have a beautiful plant like this that you can just put in a more fancy planter, a catch pot or something like that. Like, I am thinking about buying this plant, so this is going to be on queue to see if I'm going to buy this at all, but we'll see what that looks like. Plant foldies, what do you guys think of this one? Do you grow Aglaonema? And for those that actually have tuned into all of my videos, especially during the live premiere chats, thank you so much. I will ask if you can help me by pushing the like button for my videos. That is the biggest way you can support me. Obviously, watching my videos in its entirety, but hitting the like button really shows that engagement, which pushes out this content to even more plant foldies like yourself. And you can see I've shown you guys 3 different Aglaonemas. You've got the Aglaonema Golden Bay / White Rain, Aglaonema Silver Bay, and in plant foldies, I don't know what this particular Aglaonema is. If somebody can give me that plant ID for that, I would absolutely love it. I would like to buy all 3 of these. These are all $30. And, you know, if I bought all 3, that's $90 right off the bat. And I really am trying not to go on these impulse buys, but it's so difficult considering you're faced with such beautiful plants. I mean, look look at how large the leaves are, plant foldies. Like, I am just getting super excited. Let me know if you would buy that aglaonema, or of the three, which one would you buy? If I had it my way and I had the funds, I would totally buy it. So plant foldies, again, if you want to support me, besides just hitting the like button or leaving comments, there is an option called super thanks or super sticker, where you can send like a monetary tip for these videos. That definitely has happened for me in the past, and honestly, it goes to a good cause because it does fund some of my plant shopping videos. So feel free to do that. You are obviously not obligated. It is a little bit of a shameless plug, but you know what? Sometimes you got to ask. You never know if somebody will come out there and help me out. And with plant con coming around, I definitely need all the funds to be able to get those plants. I mean, even this one, $19.98. We've got a Dracaena marginata colorama, beautiful plant that actually has better variegation when you give it a lot more light. And then over here we have, I believe, what you call a Dracaena Riki. It's got thinner leaves and it's beautiful as well. I love the green on green variegation, but I just want to pan over here and show you how large these foliage plants are. This Dracaena Riki is also for $19.98, and it is a beautiful plant as well. I like that green on green variegation. Absolutely stunning plant. It's a plant that I would recommend anybody wanting to buy something that has a little bit more narrow foliage. And then we also have a bunch of Majesty palms right over here. Gorgeous looking plant. And then, you know, with Majesty palms, though, it is always a common plant to find. Unfortunately for palms, I'm not really into them just because they require quite a bit of light. And that's the problem with palms, is that the lighting conditions. You know, this is only for $22.98. So if you want a large palm, you can definitely go to Home Depot. I will say big box stores are the way to go when it comes to large foliage plants. I feel like you get the best pricing for it. You can go to a local plant nursery as well, and I'm all about, you know, supporting local plant nurseries, but when it comes down to it, sometimes the pricing is just better at big box stores for the bigger the bigger plants like this. But as you can see, plant foldies, I'm just loving it, and I really need to buy me another Aglaonema Silver Bay. Like, this is stunning. It is such an underrated plant. I would say Aglaonemas are in general are so underrated, but like, why would you not add this plant to your plant collection? Like, I'm really curious, plant foldies, why you would not want to add an Aglaonema like that to your collection for $29.98. And you can see right here so many other plants to take a look at. So today I'm just super excited. I hope you stick with me till the very end, because I want to show you all the plants. Really take some time to talk about these plants. Like right here, it's for $10.98. This is a Calathea roseo apicta. Again, with Calatheas, I wish I could grow them successfully. I'm really curious if anybody has been able to grow Calatheas successfully long term. Leave that in the comments. I am all about the comments in the comment section. So plant foldies, please let me know. For those that have actually left many comments in all of my videos, you guys are awesome. And then for the plant foldies that continue to go into my live premiere chats and engage with me, I love that. And for those that take the time to just hit that like button, just hit the like button, plant foldies, I'm telling you, it really helps me out. Thank you so much, because it just inspires me to go to a big box store like Home Depot and film, you know, more than an hour's worth of plants. And, you know, it's something that I want to continue to do. What's exciting, though, as I show you these plants, is I am inspired to grow my plant collection again. I am getting ready to show you my house plant tour and show you some of my personal plants. It's just a matter of time once I get the plant styling, get my house cleaned up, and just have time to do that. Now over here is a Syngonium, $10.98, and I'm actually tempted to purchase this because I like the fact that this Syngonium has an interesting new leaf color of pink when it actually unfurls. That's actually a really nice looking one. It almost reminds me of like how some philodendron work, but look at that. That is a new leaf that's unfurled and it's pink, but then as it hardens, it becomes that green tone. If you look at the nuances of Syngoniums, I really like the look of it. You know, this one tends to be a little bit more more of a rounder arrowhead shape, but even the veining, the pink veining, the speckling of the green, and just the fact that it's just got a beautiful minty green foliage. I am happy that I've been able to rehab some of my syngonium. So I had a syngonium plum illusion that wasn't doing well. I put it underneath a tree outdoors, and now I was actually checking it yesterday, and it's actually nice and full like this. Again, it was super leggy, but it has bounced back. So plant foldies, especially with syngoniums, if you're ever battling trying to rehab a syngonium, like say if it's got like thrifts, mealy bugs, spider mites, and you had to chop it back, or if it's leggy, put it outside, put it in a place where it gets some really good morning sun, and give it about a month, and I'm telling you, it always bounces back. It'll actually put on a lot more growth. And for $10.98, I think that it's a good price because it is in a terracotta planter. That is another syngonium. So I'll tell you, plant foldies, I will be going back to this Home Depot when I have a little bit more funds. The fact that, PlantCon is literally in 3 days, I want to make sure that I'm saving every possible penny I can save, because at the end of the day, big box stores, as beautiful as these plants are, these plants will get restocked again. The plants that I will see at PlantCon may not be available. There are a lot of plants, wish list plants, that I want to purchase that even when I look online, it's very challenging to find. The fact that I'll be able to see them in person, make selections, it is worth the wait. It is worth spending quite a bit of money. I will tell you, my budget is going to be close to 1K. For PlantCon. We'll see, because I have been working super hard about producing plant content. Your viewership has really funded me in the last 9 months, and we're almost at 10,200 subscribers. So I'm hoping to get to 11,000 by the end of the year, maybe more, but it really just depends, plant foldies. Hopefully I'm keeping you guys engaged and keeping everybody entertained, because I love showing you plants like this, like that Chiflera, beautiful. And then obviously you can't go to Home Depot and not find a Hydra Helix. Beautiful English ivy, or the correct way to say it is Hedera Helix. For those that are new to the channel, I mispronounce Hedera Helix as Hydra Helix, because when I first started doing plant shopping videos, I was actually saying Hydra Helix when it was actually Hedera Helix. It's to make a long story short, it is a plant foldy inside joke, staple, whatever you want to call it. Now, for those that are diehard plant foldies, I will be designing a Hydra Helix t-shirt for now. But for those that are interested in supporting me, I do have my Grow Folds t-shirt available in 4 different colors. Definitely check out my Instagram stories. Definitely follow me on Instagram and send me a message. That is the fastest way to connect with me. I haven't created a Facebook page yet for Grow Folds. I will eventually do that once I have time and really have it set up. But English ivy, very challenging plant to grow. It's one that I commend you if you're able to grow them long term. And then you can see right here we have some philodendron. I would say this is a Rojo Congo. Maybe it's a Rojo Congo for $19.97. And then this is another proven winners, philodendron Belitier, right over here. Now, I believe these are actually on sale for $9.98. They have proven winners plants, a lot of them for 50% off. So that's really cool. I would actually buy this philodendron Belitier for $9.98. That is a really good price. But I ended up getting one from Indonesia from a place called Green Spaces ID. I'm sure you've heard of that before, but Green Spaces ID, if you want to import plants from Indonesia, I would highly recommend them. My experience with them has been amazing, and they will be at PlantCon. I actually pre-ordered a bunch of plants to pick up at the convention. So super excited about that. You can see plant foldies. We have another golden pothos. Notice how this one isn't as variegated as the ones that I showed earlier. This one is for $7.98. And then we have another ficus elastica. This is known as the Chloe, I believe. Maybe or no, actually I don't think it's the Chloe, because the ficus elastica Chloe has rounder leaves. But as I pan away here, plant foldies, what great organization. This place is super full and impactful, and you can see here we have another marble queen pothos. This one hasn't gotten nearly as much light. $7.98 in a 4-inch planter. With marble queen, you have to give it quite a bit of light for it to have that beautiful cream variegation. Otherwise it's more of like that lighter green green color. Here we have some trade scanthia that are looking a little bit leggy. Unfortunately, that's what happens with trade scanthia, is that they can get leggy. To remedy that though, you want to pinch it back and just keep trimming it, and it will promote new growth. Trade scanthia are easy to grow and propagate in water, so you can always share cuttings. And that's the thing, plant foldies, when it comes down to like plant saving tips, I would say plant cuttings, propagating for each other, sharing plant cuttings are probably the best way to really grow your plant collection. Now, as far as a perfect spider plant, this is why I think that this Home Depot is probably the best Home Depot in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, because look at how gorgeous this spider plant is. There's not a lot of browning on the tips, just a little bit, and you can see there is one little baby spider plant, $19.98. What a good looking plant. And you know, spider plants are hard to come by, but they are plants that are readily available. It's just that finding them in a really good state is sometimes a challenge. But as I pan away here, look at how organized this Home Depot is. Jade pothos here. We've got a cast iron plant right over here. Beautiful foliage, dark foliage. Really like the look of that as well. This one is for $15.98. They are called cast iron plants because they are super durable plants. It's one that I haven't gotten. I do want to find more of a variegated form, but as I pan around here, plant foldies, I mean, this is what you call a very full and impactful, beautiful big box store. Like, I love this, and I haven't been here in such a long time. I'm so glad that I've traveled further down south to go check this out, because look at this. Easy Care Houseplants, Epipremnum aureum or golden pothos. This one isn't as variegated. You can see that it's more green, but still beautiful plant. It's already trailing, and it's only for $19.98. These are by Vigoro Plants, but I love the plant styling in the organization. So kudos to the management team that really takes care of these outdoor plants. Obviously, they have people that may know a little bit more about plant care. That's the thing about big box stores. They are not all created equal. Some places have just better staff that really take care of the plants. Like right here, Epipremnum aureum, neon pothos. I'm just going to show you this whole table of pothos plants. This one right here, to get that neon color, again, you want to give it as much bright indirect light. That is one of my favorite plants. And you know, for a neon colored plant, that is still a pretty fast grower. The golden pothos and neon pothos are pretty fast grower. It's when you start to look at the more highly variegated versions like the Enjoy, Pearls and Jade, Manjula pothos, those are a little bit slower growing. But obviously these golden pothos, which I would actually call jade pothos because it's mostly green, are going to be a lot more vigorous in its growth. Again, plant foldies, if you haven't gotten a pothos plant, add yourself a pothos plant. They are so cool. I love seeing restaurants, actually a lot of restaurants in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, whenever they have plants, actually have pothos plants. Like this one right here, for instance, Marble Queen pothos, $19.98. But I love the fact that they're utilizing more real plants. I'm not really a fan of artificial plants, and pothos plants really make a good, easy to care for plant. One that I would recommend, one that I talk about often, and one that I think if you are going to call yourself a plant foldie, you definitely need to add to your collection. Like, obviously I collect more rare and uncommon plants, but I also like to stick to the basics. I think when you stick to the basics, that's when things good things happen for your plant collection. I mean, look at that golden pothos right next to the neon pothos. I mean, I'm almost tempted to buy another neon pothos hanging basket. I already have one that's doing very well. And then we're gonna pan out and show you this gorgeous large size of a Dracaena Steed Soul. I am so tempted to buy this plant foldies. Like, I have to giggle and just think how much money I could have possibly spent here. I could have probably spent a good $400 or $500 just buying plants, because this one is only for $19.98. And again, this isn't a 10-inch planter. It's ready to go. It's a plant that's easy, and you know, you don't really see a lot of large Dracaena Steed Souls like this. What I like about this Dracaena is the newer growth is a lighter yellow tone, and as it gets older, the lower leaves tend to be a little bit more green. So it really has that like flame effect about it. What a gorgeous plant. And it is another plant that can tolerate lower light conditions. It's an easy to care for plant. And I just think that a lot of times people really don't look at dracaenas, but I feel like if there's more talk about it, more discussion about certain plants, that maybe there's going to be a little bit more interest on it. You know, when you talk about plants, sometimes it's the it plant or the trending plant that makes people want to purchase plants, but then we don't think about the care tips, the accessibility, the pricing of plants. So I urge plant foldies, especially those that watch my content, to really step back, think about some of these more easy to care for plants. Right next to it is a cordyline Hawaiian tea plant, kiwi, beautiful plant for $19.98. And you know, with cordyline plants, I love the look of this one particularly because it does have a lot of leaf interest. Now, the more sun that you give it, actually light that you give it, the better the coloration is going to be. These can get very large, and I love cordyline plants. I just wish they can grow indoors more successfully for me because they have a very high chance of getting infested with spider mites. They just appear. So if you are going to grow a cordyline tea plant indoors, you definitely want to give it quite a bit of bright light. Put it in front of a south facing window or a west facing window, or grow it under a grow light. And I would definitely spray it with neem oil at least once or twice a week to make sure that the plant is actually pest free. I would also water it by just taking it into the shower and just hosing it down so that way the leaves get cleaned up. Now, this China doll plant, as much as I love it, this is another plant that I wouldn't add to my collection, and it's not because it's not a beautiful plant. This is actually a really good price for a large one for $19.98. It's just that it is a very thirsty plant. It is a plant that requires a little bit more light, and whenever you combine a plant that needs a lot of water as well as bright light, that makes that plant, at least in my growing conditions, a little bit more challenging to keep up. I like plants that are low light tolerant, drought tolerant, and fast growers. That is the ideal plant for me. Now, you know, China doll plant does grow pretty fast. You just have to water it quite a bit. Now, this is an easy to care for plant. All of these plants, for the most part, on this wall, I mean, look at how beautiful it looks. It looks like a jungle. And I'm just going to pan over here and show you a bunch of these snake plants. Again, these are all for, I think, let's take a look. Snake plant for $24.98. That is actually a really good price as well. Low light tolerant. It's just a little bit slower growth for me, so I'm not so into snake plants unless it's the starfish snake plant. And you can see plant foldies, they just have so many large plants to pick from. This is a ZZ plant, and it is a beautiful one. I love the natural shine of a ZZ plant. This is just a green variety, and some people may not be into ZZ plants, but I love them because they're probably the easiest house plant to grow. This one is for $29.98. That's actually not a really bad price at all, considering that it's already a pretty large plant, and it's one that's ready to go into a indoor space. And then over here are a bunch of philodendron rojo congos. I love philodendron rojo congo. It is another basic philodendron for $26.98. That's a really good price, super good price. Look at the new leaves that unfurl. I love the new leaves that unfurl. This is a philodendron that tends to be more of a clumping philodendron versus a philodendron that needs to be on a pole. Eventually it will need a little bit of support. All philodendron tend to do that, but you can see that it has larger foliage leaves. I ended up getting a philodendron moonlight about this size. It's a yellow philodendron and it's absolutely stunning, but I do love rojo congo because of the red stems and then just a very nice robust large leaves. That is not a bad price at all. And so if I wanted to buy more large plants, this is basically the Home Depot in all of Dallas that I would recommend anybody buying large plants. Like, this is the best Home Depot I've seen thus far. We'll see as I continue to look at some of these Home Depots, but just the organization and the health of the plant. Yes, we did see some alocasias with some spider mites, but I mean, look at how nice the foliage looks and just how beautiful they've organized them. Over here are some yucca plants for $19.98. I will say yucca remind me of Dracaena, but for some reason there's just not an allure for me to really get into yucca. So I don't know a lot about the care tips for yucca. So for those that actually grow yucca, please let me know. And then over here, Ficus elastica burgundy, beautiful rubber tree plant. Now, when I was in the Philippines, these plants, these Ficus burgundy, were actually full-blown trees. Literally, they were growing in full sun, 20 to 30 feet in height. And so for those that want to see the full potential of this plant that we call a house plant in the western part of the world, please check out my Philippines plant videos. You will see so many of these plants that we're looking at a big box store, but in their native habitats, they are absolutely stunning. But for today, I am just super impressed about this Home Depot. I think that it's just very inspiring. The organization alone makes me want to buy plants. I don't know if you get that vibe from me, just the way I'm talking about these plants, but plant folies, I'm so excited. Like, this is a another alocasia plus marble queen pothos. I mean, that is a beautiful statement piece. Like, if you had a large house with tall ceilings and just all of these bright windows, that would be a perfect addition. $139, that is not a bad price at all. It's already ready to go, and all you have to do is put it behind a truck, haul it over, and then call it a day. Well, obviously I would take, neem oil spray and make sure to spray that down because it is an alocasia. But this is why I wanted to go pan over here, because look at all of these plants that are readily available to purchase. And plant foldies, this is what was the main event. I wanted to check out all of these proven winner plants. This is a Philodendron gloriosum, and what I think is interesting about the Philodendron gloriosum, it has some amazing looking leaves, but this is an actual philodendron that does not really want to climb. It actually is considered a crawling philodendron. So what that means is it actually goes across the soil versus wanting to climb up a pole, a tree, or anything of that nature. So if you're going to go grow a Philodendron gloriosum, you want to give it more of a horizontal type of container or planter, something that's a little bit more shallow and rectangular versus something round, so that way it has room to crawl. I think this is an interesting plant. It is a plant that is a little bit more susceptible to spider mites, and that's because it has that velvety texture about it. And what's really cool is these proven winner plants, the ones we're going to be taking a look at, are originally $29.98, but now they're only $14.98. So they're literally pretty much half off, and I'm super excited because I love proven winner plants. I think proven winner plants are amazing in a sense that they have great selections, especially the Leaf Joy series. So I'm just taking a look at all of these gloriosums. You can see that this is looking for some place to crawl. I actually have a Philodendron gloriosum, but with this type of sale, I definitely want to purchase a couple of plants. I think that proven winner plants are typically super healthy, and they just have a really good variety, like even this right here. So I've said this before in previous videos, but Monstera deliciosas from proven winners have really nice, healthy looking leaves. Typically, they don't have a lot of like cosmetic damage to the leaves. For some reason, either I just get lucky to find great looking Monstera deliciosas, but again, this one is only for $14.98. And then we're going to be looking at a Ficus elastica tiniki. So I love Ficus elastica tinikis, and this one's actually a pretty good size one. It's a pretty tall one. I would recommend typically buying Ficus elastica tiniki at like Trader Joe's, because they usually sell this size for $12.99, but a Ficus elastica ruby at this size for only $14.98. That is such a good deal. I love any type of ficus plant that comes from proven winners. With ficus plants like this, you definitely want to provide bright light. In tropical countries like the Philippines, Southeast Asian countries, these trees actually grow in full sun. They love humidity, so that's another plus for ficus trees. These are easy to propagate as well, so you can actually take cuttings and actually root them in water. If you want to promote branching, so say this has just got a single stem, if you cut the top of the actual ficus off, it will promote some more branching, which makes it more of a tree form. But as you can see, plant foldies, I'm super excited to just see that these plants are literally 50% off. So here's another Monstera deliciosa, and honestly, this is such a cute looking Monstera deliciosa. I like the shape of it, and you can see that it has a new leaf unfurling. And if you just pan away, look at that. Look at how perfect the leaves are. They're fenestrating. This one is ready to just be attached to a pole. It's ready to get larger leaves, and I just really love how healthy and perfect the leaves are. There's no rips or damages, and you can see that this looks like there are no pests on it. I would definitely want to buy this Monstera deliciosa, but since I am in the hunt to buy some more of these proven winter plants for actually $14.88, and I double checked with the employee just to make sure that all of these were on sale, and she said they were, so I'm super excited for that. Now over here is an Alocasia longiloba. I ended up buying one of these earlier in the year, and it's actually declined in health, but it's on its way back up. What I want to do with all of these Alocasias is to actually transfer them in pon. I recently bought pon off of Amazon. They actually had it in stock, so I will be receiving that on Sunday. Again, plant folies, I am super excited to go to Plant Con just to see what plants they have available. But for now, I am still going to be purchasing some of these plants. Like this Ficus umbellata, beautiful plant. I ended up actually buying a Ficus umbellata where it actually didn't do as well. I don't know if it ended up getting spider mites or what of some type of pest, but it didn't do well. So I started to really pay attention to the plant. This actually looks like almost like an overgrown weed, but it is a beautiful plant. It is more spider mite prone than the typical Ficus plant, so you have to really be cautious about that. This is a Ficus Cythis Pula. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's called an African ficus, and I definitely will be purchasing this today since it is only for $14.88. It's such a good deal, and truthfully, even after PlantCon, if there is a sale for these plants still at this Home Depot, I will go ahead and visit it, check it out, and see what other plants I'm going to purchase. But you can see here another beautiful Ficus elastica taniki. Really like the look of that as well, and you can see that this new leaf is unfurling. Love how it's got a nice textured leaf around it. That's like a half moon. And then you can see right here, this is that African Ficus. Beautiful plant. And you know, with Ficus plants, again, the rule of thumb is to make sure that you are providing quite a bit of bright light for it to really do well. If you don't provide it enough light, most Ficus plants will not do well. It will actually drop its leaves. Some of them are even more finicky than others. Some of them are a little bit more forgiving. I would say the Ficus elastica or rubber tree plants tend to be a little bit more forgiving than say like a Ficus benjamina, which we'll be looking at in just a minute. But all of the plants I'm going to be showing you are on sale for 50% off. And as I pan away over here, what beautiful organization they have at this Home Depot, and it just makes me excited and actually more inspired to actually shop at big box stores. You know, I was giving a little bit more of a critique on the Walmart that I saw a bunch of Monstera Thai constellations. It's just really nice that a big box store like Home Depot, for instance, has really good organization. I would say Walmart does too. I would also say that not all big box stores are created equal, in a sense that sometimes maybe the talent pool that they have, or maybe just the priorities and focuses of a specific big box store. But this one clearly takes pride and attention to their indoor plants or their plants in general. You can see right over here again another Ficus benjamina. This one's called Anastasia for $14.88, originally $29.98. So I love it when proven winter plants are on sale, and it just is really exciting. Now these plants, these Ficus benjamina type plants that we're looking at, like this variegated Ficus benjamina, I will purchase this in the hopes of being able to grow it. The thing about this is, look at how gorgeous that variegation is. The only problem with this plant is it does need to be placed in an area where there is quite a bit of light, and it doesn't like to be moved around a lot. Once you find a space like maybe a south facing window or a western facing window, you want to make sure that you keep that plant there. It doesn't like to be moved around a lot. And This plant is not a stranger to letting you know that it is unhappy. It will literally drop its leaves, but if you're able to get it to thrive, it will become a full-blown tree. And a lot of people even call them indoor tropical trees. They look stunning and they're beautiful, and they are just another plant that if it wasn't on sale, I would not buy. But I am so excited that the green shield plant is actually on sale. This is an Art Deco Rivera. I can't really pronounce the actual Latin scientific name, but this has been another plant that has been on my list to purchase at a big box store. Actually, 2 nights ago, I was filming. I saw that this as a trending tropicals house plant by Costa Farms for $19.84, but this one is even more full, has larger leaves, and it's just a beautiful plant. Now this one has a little bit of cosmetic damage, so I will not be buying this, but this is definitely another plant I will be purchasing today because I just love the patterns on the leaves. Look at this one right here. I think I'm going to end up purchasing this one. And what's promising about this plant is I can see that there are some new leaves unfurling. Here's the thing, plant foldies, I don't know all of the plant care tips for this particular plant, so you'll have to give me some care tips for this green shields plant. I am excited to add it to my collection, and even though it is only about 3 more days before PlantCon, I figured why not, right? You live once. I can earn some money again, and then with your viewership and help with the likes and the comments, I have been able to get some monetary value from these plant shopping videos. So I feel like I can treat myself today. Now, plant foldies, check this freckled splash Hoya carnosa, and I love proven winners Hoya carnosa, or just Hoya plants in general. I do think that these 3.5-inch planters are a good value. They're only for $5.98, and I am gonna go ahead and buy me a Hoya. I do like the little splash that it has, and you can see that it's got a beautiful leaf around it. The only thing about it is I have to really look closely at this plant. I want to make sure that there aren't any mealy bugs. That's the thing about some Hoyas. That is my biggest fear, is that Hoyas are susceptible to mealy bugs. And while mealy bugs are a little bit easier to treat, they're just annoying in a sense that it takes a while to treat them. So you can see over here, plant foldies, we've got another beautiful plant. This one is another peperomia. This is just a green peperomia obtusifolia, another nice looking plant that I would recommend for a beginner. All of these proven winner plants, like this one right here, I'm gonna go ahead and buy me a variegated Hoya Wyetii. Beautiful plant. This is also known as a Hoya Quintiana, $5.98. This one is highly variegated, but I don't know if I see signs of mealy bugs. I'm a little bit paranoid, so if I do buy that, that is definitely going to get a big spray down, and I'm also going to put some systemic granules to make sure that the soil has a little bit of poison to kill any potential eggs. I am super cautious about just bringing plant pests home from big box store plants, because not to knock the big box store, but there's just a lot of exposure to people. It has traveled a lot, and sometimes these plants may not always be at their best health. Although I will say at this Home Depot plant foldies, let's just say that this one has had a very good selection of plants. A lot of their plants are super healthy. I mean, even this Tradescanthia Feeling Flirty, love the look of it. I need to get another one of these. I ended up sending it to Plant Heaven, but it is a beautiful pink Tradescanthia. I love pink plants. We all know I love pink plants because I talk about pink plants often, and this is just another plant that I would like to add. This is a Calathea obtusifolia, also for $14.88. As beautiful as a Calathea obtusifolia is, this plant is just never going to make it back into my home, simply because I have sent about 3 of these to Plant Heaven, and it's just heartbreaking because Calatheas have probably the most stunning foliage of a lot of plants in general, but it is just such a tough plant. But as you can see right here, plant foldies, they've got a lot of different proven winner plants. Now, proven winners is typically seen at Home Depot, more so than maybe Costa Farm plants. I will see some Costa Farm plants, but for the most part, you will see Vigoro plants and proven winner plants typically at Home Depot. And this is a reason why I love shopping different big box stores. Like, you can see right here for $19.98, another gorgeous Hoya carnosa. This is a crimson Princess, nice little hanging basket. Love the variegation. And again, with these Hoya carnosa or Hoya plants in general, give it a lot of bright light. You'll get better coloration. Give it more humidity. You'll also get better growth. And if you give a light and humidity, you may be able to see some gorgeous, fragrant Hoya blooms. And that's something that I hope to be able to experience someday, to be able to get my Hoyas to bloom. I've actually been, laugh at me if you want, but I've actually been fertilizing some of my Hoyas with Bloom Booster, where it has a little bit more, I think, is it phosphorus that actually increases the potential of blooms. But you can see right here, nice green foliage on this Hoya canosa, just in a little hanging basket, and I absolutely love it. $19.98, but we'll go ahead and pan away and show you all of the gorgeous plants they still have available here. But what's super exciting is the fact that $14.88 for all of those proven winner plants on that table. That is awesome. And I'm just going to pan around over here. So we still have a bunch of these Majesty palms. Now these are also on sale for $44.98. That is a massive palm for that price. So it looks like this Home Depot specifically has some really good sales going on. So again, if you are in the West Plano, Texas area, definitely check this out. This is off of Dallas Parkway. And then over here again is another Alocasia Regal Shields. This one is actually in bloom. You can see that it's got a beautiful purple stem, and it's got some nice looking foliage as well as just having a little bit of a ground cover of that Marble Queen Pothos. That is also for $139. Again, that's a ready to go plant. So if you have a large space and you want to put something like that in it, that would be a great addition. And then plant foldies, we've got this typical Vigoro hanging basket fixture, but look at all of the hanging basket plants. They look super healthy and lush. This one particularly is just an Epipremnum aureum jade pothos for $19.98. This is a pretty fast growing plant, specifically this pothos. And then I'm going to walk over here, plant foldies, and just show you some more of these plants. So we've got a bunch of larger Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf trees right over here. Now with fiddle fig leaf trees, they do require quite a bit of light. So just make sure that you have the light available for them if you're going to grow them indoors. And then we have some gorgeous looking Alocasia Regal Shields. The only thing about Alocasia Regal Shields, and let's take a look at the price, $39.98. Really good price for such a large plant. This plant definitely needs to be monitored for spider mites, because as gorgeous as the leaves are, these are very susceptible to spider mites. And it's unfortunate because that plant would be like a trending plant if it just didn't have that susceptibility to spider mites. Now over here we've got some Polea peperomoides or Chinese money tree plant. Look at how gorgeous this is. And what I like about this particular plant is it actually produces a lot of pups. These are also for $19.98. And actually these hanging baskets from Vigoro are a lot fuller than the typical ones I see at most Home Depots. So just the quality of plants that they have at this Home Depot, I really have to commend it. And plant foldies, if you are in the live chat or even in the just watching this video, please leave your comments. Let me know if this big box store, this Home Depot, has some more healthy looking plants. I mean, look at this Philodendron hederaceum Brazil. Love this plant. It's a classic plant. It's a plant that I would definitely recommend for anybody that is growing houseplants indoors. I recently picked up a couple of Philodendron hederaceum just because you can never really get enough of them. They're easy to propagate. You can take several cuttings as it starts to trail and root them in water. Very easy to root in water, so propagation is fairly easy with this particular plant. Now, if you were to grow that on a totem pole or a moss pole, the leaves would get larger, and that's just what the natural habit is in the wild. And then we're just gonna walk over here again, and I just want to show you how lush and green and full this gorgeous looking nursery area at this Home Depot. Love the fact that they have all of these plants arranged, and you can see right over here, for instance, beautiful Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. I like the ones that I showed earlier because they had some really good variegation, but this one actually has some pretty good variegation as well. Again, plant foldies for this golden pothos. While it is a basic plant, while most people would find this very common, very typical, I still think that you should have it in your plant collection. I definitely have it in my plant collection. I have a bunch of cuttings that I need to pot up in soil. They're ready to go, and they're just very easy to share as well. That is a plant that has a lot of versatility. You can actually grow it in many different lighting conditions, although I would always recommend bright indirect light to maintain its gorgeous variegation. And then obviously these Chinese money tree plants are Pilea peperomoides, beautiful plant. And then we also have these Monstera deliciosas here, the larger forms. Now these ones are not as perfect as the ones from Proven Winners. The thing about Monstera deliciosa is if you do provide it with quite a bit of light, its actual growth rate increases substantially. So more light means more happy plants. Obviously you want to make sure that it's not like full sun, but just that gentle morning light is really going to help out the plants. As you can see here, we do have another sea of Alocasia regal shields. We've got some gorgeous looking Ficus lyrata over here, and you know, with Ficus lyrata you could just never go wrong with Ficus lyrata. Fiddle fig leaf trees used to be the plant. It used to be in a lot of like interior design digest magazines. Everybody had to get a fiddle fig leaf tree in their home, although most people don't understand that this plant is actually not a beginner plant. It's a plant that does require some care. Actually, consistency is the best way to kind of put it on what its care needs are. For instance, if you're going to water it, you want to make sure that you stay on the watering. So let the soil dry out completely, but don't let it go through a big period of drought. It's not going to like that. It's actually going to drop its leaves if you do that. And then we're just going to walk over here again and just show you all of the plants just one last time and really show you what they have available here. Gorgeous Aglonema Silver Bay, for instance, and just more plants. Definitely impressed with the plants they have there. And then I did want to show you these are normally $19.98. These Leaf Joy hydroponic plants. These are $9.99, which is a more feasible price. I think that $20 for this is a little bit much to ask, but look at that. That is a beautiful Syngonium milk confetti. And then we have another type of Syngonium right here. Honestly, these are more like water propagations to me, but I do love the Leaf Joy series, the H2O bowls. We've got some Monstera adansonii, and these are all 50% off again. They are $9.99 each. We've got some golden pothos right over here. Very lush looking golden pothos, and again, these are easy to create. I actually have some plants growing in hydroponics. My anthuriums and also my aglonema are growing in hydroponics. They're doing okay. And then I did want to pan out outside just to show you how gorgeous that Rodeo oyster plant is. This is actually in a succulent arrangement here, and you can see this is for $26.98. I do love how beautiful the pink coloration of this particular Rodeo oyster plant is. It is one of my favorite plants. It is a plant that you can grow indoors. The pink is more prevalent though when you actually give it a lot more light. And then I did want to show you just a couple of more cactus and succulents out here. You can see that pink. That is just so beautiful. I think that is the most beautiful pink plant that I've seen so far in this entire episode. I have several varieties of that in my plant collection, and then you can see right here we've got another succulent aloe vera type arrangement. Now with succulents and cactus, again, you just want to make sure that you are providing it with quite a bit of bright light. Some will require full sun, and as far as the soil plant folies, again, when it comes to cactus and succulents, you want to make sure that the soil does not remain drenched with water. They prefer to be more so on the drier side, so I would definitely do that. I would refrain from watering them often. A little bit more drought actually goes a long way for succulents and cactus. Like you can see right here, this one is another plant. I really like the neon pink veining on the edges of the leaves. That looks really nice. And then we have some more plants to take a look at here. You can see that this one is a nice shape. I do like the coloration of it. I love succulents that actually have hints of pink succulents. And you know, when it comes down to it, I hope I'll be able to find some really interesting looking rare variegated succulents at PlantCon. I just can't believe that it is literally just around the corner. I'm hoping to be able to meet a lot of the plant foldies and just to really see all of these plant vendors. Definitely want to support all of the local businesses and even the international vendors that are coming around. Definitely check out Green Spaces ID, for instance. They've got some amazing plants from Indonesia. And you know, all of these plants though, when you look at these big box store plants, it's just nice to see that these are consistent. You can find these plants. So say you don't purchase a plant today, just know that if it is in a big box store, they eventually will get restocked. There are some plants though that are super healthy and lush that you may want to go ahead and pick up right then and there. For instance, that Aglaonema Golden Bay or that Aglaonema White Rain I wanted to purchase in the Silver Bay, I'm going to hold off from buying those since I am going to be buying those proven winner plants since they're on sale, just because I know that those plants will eventually get sourced out again. They had quite a bit of a selection. So again, plant foldies, when it comes down to it, sometimes you have to make those decisions where there is a want, there is a need, and there is a necessity. If you ask any plant foldie though, I feel like we will always default to it is a necessity. I feel like some of those aglaonemas, for instance, that I'm leaving behind are a necessity, but it's more so of a want. It's something that I can eventually get. But yeah, plant foldies, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far. It is always fun to take you guys out to big box stores. I mean, you can see right here, these are for 3 for $10, so you can get an arrangement of different types of cactus and succulents. I just wish I had a little bit more interest in succulents and cactus. I don't really have as much of a fancy as compared to you know, tropical aeroids, for instance, bonsai, that sort of thing. So plant foldies, in the comment section though, leave in the comment section what plants you actually like during this little plant shopping video, what plants you want to see at big box stores, what plants you want me to actually film whenever I'm out on my little plant shopping adventures, because I definitely invest a lot of time for it, but I also want to provide content that is going to keep you engaged, keep you watching my videos, and continue to grow this channel. If you made it this far, plant foldies, please, 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 please hit that like button. I know that I've said that multiple times in the video, but you do not even understand how much it helps push the video out to more plant foldies. Like the previous video that I premiered had over 100 likes, and it's gotten a lot more hits than the typical big box or plant shopping video. So hopefully you are taking notice. You're giving me that validation that I'm doing a pretty good job with these plant shops. The exciting thing is I will have several hours of PlantCon footage this week. It's literally going to be a working weekend for me. I'm hoping to get at least 16 hours worth of footage, several episodes available for you. But as you can see, plant foldies, Home Depot has some amazing cactus and succulents, but I think the biggest highlight for me were the really large house plants that they had available. I think they were super lush, they were super full, and they were stunning. As you can see, plant foldies, these are the plants that I purchased today. Super excited that I finally got these awesome looking plants, super healthy, at 50% off. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. This is Richie at Grow Folds. Please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.